Imagine standing in what was once Trafalgar Square on a bright Tuesday morning. The date is today, October 8th, 2025. There is no endless river of red buses, black cabs, and private cars. Instead, the dominant sound is the gentle whir of a passing tram, its bell chiming softly to signal its approach. You can hear the splash of the fountains clearly, a sound once drowned out by the constant roar of engines. Children are laughing as they chase pigeons across the vast, open plaza, their parents watching from benches set amongst newly planted beds of wildflowers. The air does not carry the usual metallic tang of exhaust fumes. It smells of damp earth from a recent shower, roasting coffee from a nearby kiosk, and the faint, sweet perfume of blossoming cherry trees. This vision, a Britain without the private car as its king, might sound like a distant fantasy. It is a radical departure from the world we have built over the last century, a world sculpted by the demands of the automobile. Our towns, our cities, and even our daily routines are dictated by the need to accommodate millions of metal boxes. To consider a future where they are no longer the primary mode of transport is to contemplate a fundamental shift in our way of life. Yet this change, while daunting, holds the promise of a quieter, healthier, and more connected society. It is an invitation to reimagine the very spaces we inhabit and how we move through them. The journey to this car-free future would not be a simple one. It would be a path filled with complex challenges and require immense planning and public will. The most immediate and profound benefit of a car-free Britain would be the transformation of our air quality. Every day, millions of internal combustion engines release a cocktail of invisible poisons into the atmosphere we all share. Nitrogen dioxide, particulate matter, tiny particles that can penetrate deep into our lungs and bloodstream, are directly linked to a host of serious health problems. They worsen conditions like asthma, contribute to heart disease, and can even impact the cognitive development of children. With the removal of cars, a primary source of this pollution would vanish almost overnight. Imagine children in our major cities growing up without the constant respiratory irritation that has become a sad fact of modern urban life. This cleaner air would translate directly into a healthier population. The National Health Service, currently under immense strain, would experience significant relief. A study from King's College London estimated that air pollution contributes to tens of thousands of early deaths in the UK each year. By eliminating traffic pollution, we could see a dramatic fall in hospital admissions for respiratory and cardiovascular emergencies. Furthermore, our roads would become immeasurably safer. Each year, thousands of people are killed or seriously injured in road traffic accidents. A car-free environment would virtually eliminate this daily tragedy, saving countless families from preventable heartbreak and grief. The silence on the roads would be the sound of lives being saved. However, a significant problem arises. How do we ensure people can still access essential services, particularly in emergencies? The swift response of an ambulance or a fire engine is a cornerstone of public safety. If roads are repurposed into parks and pedestrian zones, how can these vital vehicles get through? The solution lies in intelligent design and designated access. Reinforced, discrete emergency vehicle lanes, perhaps disguised as footpaths. A smart network could control bollards, automatically lowering them to grant instant access for registered emergency services, ensuring response times are not compromised. Consider the sheer amount of space our towns and cities dedicate to the car. Multi-lane roads slice through communities. Vast car parks sit empty for much of the day and night. Every street is lined with parked vehicles. In a car-free Britain, all this land would be given back to the people. A 6-lane urban motorway could be transformed into a linear park. A green corridor could include cycle paths, community gardens, rows of trees to cool the city in summer. The sprawling car park of a former out-of-town supermarket could become a vibrant market square. New affordable housing, a public sports facility, tennis courts, a playground. This reclamation of space would fundamentally change the character of our urban environments, making them more pleasant and sociable. Streets would no longer be mere conduits for traffic, but destinations in their own right. Cafes spilling out onto wide pavements. Local shops benefiting from increased footfall. Neighbors stopping and talking in safer, quieter spaces. The aesthetic of our cities would shift from grey to green. Greening the urban landscape brings environmental benefits, improving drainage to reduce flood risk, creating vital habitats for birds and insects. One major problem is the economic disruption. Local councils generate significant revenue from parking fees and fines. The construction and maintenance of roads supports a large workforce. How would this financial gap be filled? Creative, forward-thinking economic planning could help. The land unlocked from roads and car parks is an incredibly valuable asset. Councils could lease plots to small businesses, community land trusts and housing developers with sustainability and affordability requirements. A new green space levy on businesses could replace lost parking revenue, funding upkeep of new parks and plazas. The transition would create a boom in new types of employment, dismantling old road infrastructure, building new parks, cycleways and public squares, construction workers, landscape architects, gardeners, urban planners, engineers, technicians and drivers. The economy would shift from supporting the private car to supporting public well-being, creating a new generation of green-collar jobs that improve quality of life for all. A common and valid criticism of the car-free city concept is the question of logistics. A society still needs goods to function. Supermarket shelves must be stocked. Construction sites need materials. Businesses need deliveries. Without vans and lorries, how would the essential arteries of commerce continue to flow? The solution is not to ban all commercial vehicles, but to create a smarter, cleaner, less intrusive logistics network. Long-distance haulage shifts from motorways to rail, freight trains running overnight, central distribution hubs on the outskirts of cities, last-mile deliveries handled from hubs by electric vehicles, large, silent electric lorries restricted to off-peak hours such as between midnight and 6 a.m., restocking major stores and businesses while streets are empty. For smaller daytime deliveries, electric cargo bikes, small electric vans, these nimble vehicles navigate repurposed streets with ease, causing minimal disruption, producing zero emissions. This managed system ensures commerce continues to thrive without daytime noise, pollution or congestion caused by today's free-for-all delivery culture. The challenge is greater for rural communities. For many in villages and remote areas, a car is a necessity for accessing work, schools, healthcare, which can be many miles away. A blanket ban would risk isolating these communities. The solution must be nuanced and flexible, not a one-size-fits-all policy. Intercity travel by train. Rural areas need a revolution in local public transport. High-frequency bus routes connecting villages to larger towns and to railway stations, running early in the morning until late at night. Where regular buses are not viable, government-subsidized on-demand electric minibuses, bookable via a simple telephone service or via an app. Strictly regulated community-based car clubs permitted, providing access to shared electric cars for essential journeys that cannot be made by public transport. This prevents penalizing those outside major urban centers. Replace the necessity of owning a car with reliable, affordable alternatives, ensuring freedom of movement for all, regardless of their postcode. The prospect of a car-free Britain can feel overwhelming, a change so monumental it seems impossible to achieve. The key is to recognize that such a transformation would not happen overnight. It would be a gradual process, a quiet revolution that begins with small, deliberate steps. Cities could start by implementing pilot schemes in single neighborhoods or on individual high streets. These low-traffic neighborhoods would give residents a tangible taste of the benefits: cleaner air, safer streets for their children, a stronger sense of community. These small-scale experiments would allow us to learn, adapt, and build public support for wider changes. Success in one area would breed confidence and inspire others to follow. As people experience the positive changes firsthand, the political will to expand the initiatives would grow. The economic case would also build over time as new businesses spring up in the reclaimed spaces and public health savings become evident. The journey would be one of evolution, not revolution, allowing society and the economy time to adapt. New jobs in public transport, logistics, urban greening would gradually replace those lost from the old car-centric economy, managed through government-backed retraining programs to ensure a just transition for all workers. The challenges are undeniably significant. It would require immense investment, political courage, and a fundamental shift in our collective mindset. We have spent a century building a world around the car, and undoing that work will not be easy. We would need to rethink our expectations of instant, individualized travel and embrace a more collective, scheduled approach. It is a trade-off. We would sacrifice the perceived freedom of the private car for the true freedom of clean air, safe streets, vibrant, people-focused communities. The personal convenience of the few would be replaced by the collective well-being of the many.